The impoverished green tea student has found a system that copies my grades. I worked hard to move forward under heavy burdens, but a poor student relied on a buff to effortlessly take first place in the grade and even stole my fiancé. Can the supporting female character stop trying to ride on her coattails? Her place should be with the male lead. Every time the results come out, the supporting female character's scores stick to our female lead like a stubborn plaster. How shameless. As the barrage wished, I won the first prize in the national chemistry competition and successfully secured a spot at Tsinghua University. In the exams that followed without me, the impoverished student became the last in the rankings. On the day the monthly exam results were posted, the crowd in front of the bulletin board was bustling. The top 3 in the grade were displayed on the most prominent large poster. According to the usual practice of previous years, the top scorer is likely to emerge from among these 3 students. Lu Shi's name is at the very top, followed closely by her boyfriend, who is also my childhood friend, Ping Bowen. I'm really fed up. Why is the female supporting character's name always sandwiched between the male and female leads? Her scores are always the same as the female leads, like a piece of sticky plaster. Can't the school investigate thoroughly? Did her family bribe the teacher to change her answer sheet? Our female lead is working so hard, ranking first alongside the male lead in second place. What a perfect match. Agreed. I also suspect the supporting female character bought the answers. Otherwise, with the degree she bought her way into, how could she possibly be in the same school as the female lead? Is this the power of capital? It's clear that the male and female leads have a love that's evenly matched. Running into someone like this is just bad luck. The female lead relies on her own hard work and sweat. What does the supporting female character have? Her path has been paved with her family's money. What real ability could she possibly have? I bought a zebra crossing membership for the female supporting character, so she won't have to look at traffic lights when crossing the street anymore. That's really thoughtful of you. Person upstairs. The barrage of comments echoing in my mind left me somewhat puzzled. It wasn't until I let them scold me for a while that I finally realized the female supporting character was actually me, and Lu Shi and Ping Bowen are the chosen male and female leads. I couldn't help but glance at the 2 of them secretly holding hands in front of the bulletin board. Ping Bowen's gaze toward Lu Shi was filled with admiration, and under the teasing and blessings of their classmates, both of their faces flushed completely red. When I walked over, I realized that my name, which originally belonged there, had been crossed out. Even the paper was torn. I lost my temper in front of everyone. Who the hell crossed out my name? No one in the room nodded. Everyone denied it. I looked at Lu Shi again. She was hiding behind Ping Bowen, appearing fragile, but her eyes were filled with provocation as she looked at me. I knew at a glance that she was the one who did it. I snorted coldly and went straight back to the classroom, but soon, I came out again, holding a perfectly sized sticky note in my hand. I wrote my name in standard script in front of everyone. Our school has a tradition. The report cards on the bulletin board remain posted until the results of the next major exam are released. Ping Bowen came over and grabbed me, looking at me as if he wanted to devour me whole. Jiangshanga, it's just a name, isn't it? What are you making a fuss about? As he spoke, he began to rub his forehead and let out a bitter laugh. Could it be that you're jealous that Shui tied with you for first place this time? I suggest you stop focusing on me. I like her, and there's no possibility between us. The barrage of comments in my mind is filled with praise, all from fans fantasizing about the male and female leads. It feels like even if the 2 of them stepped in dog poop, the comments would still praise it as a stroke of good luck. I wonder if they know there's a group of their loyal fans in my mind. I ignored his words and, in front of everyone, reattached my name. Not only did I use the glue I bought for 99 yuan, but I also framed my name with a transparent case. This case was neither too big nor too small. It perfectly covered the names of Ping Bowen and Lu Shi. Oh my, I think it's a great honor to be on the honor roll. To prevent anyone with ill intentions from erasing my name, I had no choice but to take this measure. I believe the top student and the 3rd place student in the grade won't mind, right? After all, we're all regulars on the honor roll. It's not like anyone wouldn't know. From a distance, this chart looks like Class 12 to 1, Jiangshanga, Chinese, 149, Math, 150, English, 150, Science Comprehensive, 289, Grade Rank, 1, Class Rank, 1-2, Jiangshanga. When did you become so sharp-tongued? How did you get your grades? Don't you have any idea in your heart? What does it matter if you got first place by cheating this time? Don't think that just because you have the same score as she, I'll fall in love with you. Dream on. Our engagement is definitely going to be cancelled. Lu Shi's gaze at Ping Bowen was filled with admiration and emotion. Sure enough, the barrage of comments immediately erupted. Whoa, our 2 little bitter gourds, let's walk the flower road together from now on. The female supporting character, relying on her family background and connections, bullies our female lead relentlessly, not even sparing her academic performance. It's so disgusting. Could it be that she'll also steal the female lead scores during the college entrance exam? Isn't it common for people to take others' places to attend university? In ancient times, there was a reason for valuing agriculture over commerce. Baby Shi, through her own efforts, changed the fate of her entire family and made her way out of the mountains. She is truly a role model for our generation. How is the female lead, who couldn't even get into high school after the middle school entrance exam, worthy? The comments in the bullet chat were disrespectful, each one filled with conspiracy theories. I'm starting to suspect that if Lu Shui sprained her ankle, the bullet chat would say I caused it with my actions. Many students present said that the romance between top students is just so sweet. The comments aren't wrong. I really didn't get into high school after the middle school entrance exam, but none of them knew that it was because I only took 2 subjects. I didn't take the rest of the exams because I got into a car accident on the way to the test center. Ping Bowen and I grew up together. On the day the results came out, looking at my score, he actually said that I had been deceiving him all along. Heavenly Lord, it was clearly because he was already infatuated with Lu Shi at the time, deliberately picking on me and pinning every accusation on me. He didn't even give me a chance to explain. Lu Shi's performance in the high school entrance exam was indeed outstanding, ranking 3rd in the entire city. It was the vice principal who personally went to the mountains to invite her to study at our school. The conditions offered were also excellent. Not only were tuition and accommodation fees fully waived, but she also received an additional living allowance. But fortunes change over time. Quantitative change inevitably leads to qualitative change. Yes, your Shi is the best. I won't take the next exam, so you and she can be on the same paper, right? Ping Bowen snorted coldly. Jiang Shengda, you'd better keep your word. First place belongs only to Shi. I've seen all the hard work she's put in. Excuse me. Who exactly is the system that Lu Shi is bound to? How could it even swap faces in the scenes of me studying hard? I really don't have time to deal with these 2 lunatics anymore. Lu Shui looked anxious and quickly came over to comfort me. Shangda, please don't skip the exam just to prove a point. If I did anything wrong today, I apologize to you. Ping Bowen looked at her with a heart full of pity, thinking his girlfriend was gentle and kind, but the truth was, she was bound to the same scoring system as me. If I didn't come to take the exam, she would have nothing. Her words to me were not flattery, but pure emotion. 3. I can't wait to see the male and female leads' names in the first and second frames. Can the supporting female character stop being a copycat? It's really annoying how she keeps shamelessly clinging on. Am I the only one curious about how the supporting female character plagiarizes? Logically speaking, exam halls are filled with surveillance. And not only for school exams, even in competitions representing the city, they managed to get the same scores. Could this all be a coincidence? To the person above, once might be a coincidence, but if it happens every time, it's definitely intentional. Agreed. The female supporting character comes from a wealthy family, but she's just a fool propped up by capital. Ping Bowen has been engaged to me since we were children, a commitment our parents made for us while we were still in the womb. I never truly saw his true colors until Lu Shui appeared. Ever since he went to the mountains for a wilderness survival trip during summer vacation and met Lu Shi, he fell in love at first sight with this girl who knew everything, had excellent grades, and was well-behaved and sensible. Ever since he came back, he has been constantly picking on me, finding fault with everything I do. When I went to a high-end restaurant, he gaslighted me by saying that there are still many people in the world who don't have enough to eat, yet I spend thousands on an afternoon tea. When I wore a gorgeous dress to attend a banquet, he frowned and mocked me, saying that no matter how splendid the dress, it's useless without inner substance. Excuse me, too, who did I offend? You can love whoever you want. It's not like I can't live without you. Since Lu Shi transferred to our school, her grades haven't been great, perhaps because she hasn't adjusted to the teaching environment here, but due to Ping Bowen's harassment. Oh, no, I mean, his interruptions. She's been spending much less time on her studies, and knowledge waits for no one. Ping Bowen was very patient with her, tutoring her every single day without fail, but more than once, I saw them start kissing while studying in the library. A fun fact, kissing is not part of the exam syllabus, and a marriage certificate only comes in handy during university. But I, Jiang Shengda, am different. I am the only daughter in my family, and all the family's assets will eventually be handed over to me. I even want to take over the Ping family's assets as well. With this idea in mind, I have given my all in my studies. The tutors my parents hired for me were all college entrance exam question setters plus doctoral candidates from Tsinghua and Peking University. Since the start of my senior year, I have consistently held the top spot and remained unshakable, but I never expected that Lu Shi would have the same score as me. I was shocked by her progress, but I also admired her perseverance, so, in private, I didn't waste a single minute or second, treating every day as if it were the college entrance exam. Yet, in every exam, Lucia clung to me like a stubborn piece of adhesive plaster. Gradually, rumors spread at school that I had paid to alter the answers on my answer sheet, copying Lucia's work in every possible way. Otherwise, how could it be such a coincidence, after all? Everyone knows that my high school entrance exam score was 239, and it was only because my dad funded the construction of 5 teaching buildings for the school that I secured a spot in a key high school. Year after year passed, and with the college entrance exam just around the corner, these people still couldn't let go of my high school entrance exam score. It's just not interesting anymore. Yes, I've been asking myself that question too. Once, I thought it was simply because I didn't work hard enough until 2 months ago, I stumbled upon her secret. She broke down on the rooftop, shouting at the system. As for me, I was genuinely stressed and just wanted to go up there to catch some fresh air. Useless. Can you only bind me to Jiangshengda's scores? Why can't you make her swap lives with me? Do you know how terrified I am every day? She can fail as she pleases, but I can't. If my grades slip, have you ever thought about how Peng Bowen would see me? Wasn't he initially interested in me because I did well on the high school entrance exam? My footsteps halted on the spot. At first, I simply thought she was venting, just like me, under immense pressure, but the more I listened, the more chilling it became. So, all those repeated instances weren't just coincidences, someone was deliberately making them happen. No wonder she could score so high with such ease. I continued to eavesdrop. Finally, the system's cold voice rang out. Sorry, host, I cannot answer that question. You are bound to the score replication system. Lucia screamed hysterically. I want to upgrade. Give me the same family background as Jiangshengda. The system's voice remained indifferent. Sorry, host, I do not have the authority to fulfill your request. Please keep working hard. As long as you score more than 666 points in major exams, exceeding the bound person's score 10 times, you will have the chance to receive a 2 million yuan bonus after the college entrance examination. I'm not satisfied. I'm sorry. The system is in sleep mode. Even through the walls, I could feel Lucia's agony and torment. I had stumbled upon her enormous secret. And just as I was about to leave, I heard her resolute voice once more. Peng Bowen is my only support now. Since I've escaped from that place, there's no way I'm going back. I walked down the stairs step by step. For a moment, I thought Lucia was also an unlucky person, but her happiness should not be built on my foundation. From that day on, I began planning a grand scheme, hoping to win a beautiful victory. Perhaps sensing that I had uncovered the secret, the barrage of comments began to attack me. They always flood the screen when I'm solving problems, saying Lucia and Peng Bowen are a match made in heaven. I have a reasonable suspicion that the barrage is orchestrated by the system. It's filled entirely with my anti-fans. I have been silently enduring these virtual attacks for a long time, and my mindset is still incredibly good. After all, I have received confidence education and various stress resistance training. How could I possibly be driven to despair by a few comments in the bullet chat? In fact, Lucia is still a bit too inexperienced. What she didn't know was that she should never reveal her vulnerabilities to the outside world, because the enemy will seize every opportunity to turn defeat into victory. Lucia, you are destined to be defeated by me. Coincidentally, she was just one exam away from getting the 2 million yuan. Since I already know her secret, why would I do as she wishes? The honors she gained through me, I want her to destroy them with her own hands. Bit by bit, for half an hour before school ended in the afternoon, the principal announced over the broadcast that I should go to his office. Instantly, the eyes of the entire class were fixed on me. Peng Bowen, sitting on the podium managing discipline, lipped smug. Jiangshengda, you still won't admit it. I told you your grades must have been copied. Now it's perfect. The principal is going to talk to you personally. I wonder what you're going to do about it. Everyone below was chattering away with their own opinions. I didn't say a word. Peng Bowen thought I was feeling guilty and even gave me a piece of advice. Things that are detrimental to the family's interests, I advise you to do less of them. Otherwise, if word gets out in the circle, it will bring shame on me as well. Lucia was initially full of confusion, but after listening to Peng Bowen's analysis, she found it quite reasonable. On the surface, they're comforting me, but deep down, they're probably laughing their heads off. It's okay if you didn't make it onto the honor roll. Just apologize properly to the principal, and I believe you'll still have a chance to take the next exam. I snorted coldly. Lucia's attitude was truly contradictory, looking down on me, taking pleasure in my misfortune, yet also nervously worried that I might not be able to take the exam. At that moment, a barrage of bullet comments flashed before my eyes, just thinking about the female supporting character having To read her self-criticism at next week's flag-raising ceremony makes me want to laugh. Just thinking about the female supporting character having to read her self-criticism at next week's flag-raising ceremony makes me want to laugh. You're laughing a bit too loudly. I calmly walked out of the classroom, and as I passed Ping Bowen, I flashed him a standard smile. My advice is not to give me advice so casually. Also, the engagement has been unilaterally terminated by me. Don't bring it up again in the future. I find it embarrassing. 5. When I arrived at the principal's office, the principal was hiding behind the door, setting off a party popper. The principal warmly shook my hand. Jiang, great news from the province. You've won the provincial special prize in the chemistry competition. Only 5 students in the entire province received this honor, and you've now secured a direct admission qualification. As for which university you'll attend, that will depend on your interview performance, but a top-tier 985 institution is definitely within reach. From now on, just focus on preparing for the interview. If you find the school too noisy, you can also apply to study at home. Compared to the principal's excitement, I remained much calmer. Uncle, calm down, calm down. I reassured him. He was as excited as a big female monkey. I'm just happy. I can't calm down at all. Not long ago, some classmates reported you for cheating on exams. This provincial competition is the perfect opportunity to prove them wrong. I'll have someone make me a high-end poster right away. Is that person Ping Bowen? The principal was surprised. You already know, that guy is always looking for more while having plenty. Truly despicable. It's a good thing you've long since given up on him. I nodded. But regarding my guaranteed admission, please don't spread the word for now. Let's wait until my interview results come out before saying anything. Why? The principal was very puzzled. This is the most powerful move to restore your reputation right now. Never mind what it is, just keep it a secret for now. As I walked out of the principal's office, a smile curled at the corners of my lips. So what if Lu Shi has bound herself to a system with the same score as mine? She can't steal my mind, my knowledge, my connections, my family. She could never steal those from me. In my second year of high school, my uncle advised me to take the path of guaranteed admission. From that point on, I devoted 1/3 of my energy to my high school studies, 1/3 to preparing for exams to study abroad, and the rest of my time to competing in academic competitions. I never felt that having a family background or the means to support me was something to be ashamed of. There is only one spot for this competition, and the school has internally decided to give it to me. I admit I got it through connections, but considering I've never dropped from the top spot in my grade, I think I deserve it. 6. When I returned to the classroom, perhaps noticing my expression was too heavy, Lu Shi came to comfort me in front of everyone. Shanga, what's wrong? Did the teacher scold you? If you show a better attitude, the teacher must have your best interests at heart. I don't know if this person thinks with their asshole, which I have heard saw me being scolded, just trying to get attention. Ha. Afraid people won't notice how gentle and kind she is. I pointed to the seat behind her. Can you not block the way? I'm not in a good mood today. I was just pretending, from an angle no one else could see. Lu Shi was even happier. I hadn't even laid a hand on her yet, and her loyal lackey pushed me aside, embracing her with the posture of a victor. Jiang Shengge, don't be ungrateful. Shi was just concerned about you. Why would you hit her? I couldn't believe my face. How could this be pinned on me? Look, even the barrage can't stand it anymore. The male lead is so concerned about the female lead, even though the supporting female character didn't hit the female lead. The male lead still avenged her for it. The male lead is truly something. I'm so moved to tears. He can notice the female lead's movements from so far away. I'm loving this ship. Please give the supporting female character a few more pushes. So satisfying to watch. Alright. I silently close my eyes. No one speaks up for me. The next second, I kick Ping Bowen down onto the empty desk next to him, with a series of crackling sounds. I brushed off the non-existent dust from the soles of my feet. I told you not to block the way. I really don't have time to mess around with them anymore. I have an interview next week, and my admission to Tsinghua University is basically confirmed. Behind me, they were in utter chaos. I can't be bothered to watch any longer. However, interestingly enough, the homeroom teacher happened to come in at that very moment. Seeing that the two of them were the only ones in the entire class making all sorts of strange noises, she was absolutely furious. The college entrance exam is just around the corner. If you don't want to study, others still need to. You two, get out here right now. I'm really fed up. The female supporting character is such a jinx. Whenever she's around, nothing good ever happens. I can never sympathize with the capitalists. They're just too good at playing mind games. With this level of scheming, I'm really worried for the innocent female lead. From that day on, the grudge between us was officially set. Before heading to Beijing, my family and Ping Bowen's parents met up. We all sat down calmly to discuss calling off the engagement. Ping Bowen's parents were unwilling, they kept holding my hand, and I wanted to break free. If Lu Shi saw that, it would be a disaster. Shunga, is there something about Bowen that you're not satisfied with? Tell us, and we'll deal with him for you. Yes, you two grew up together. I remember you always used to say you wanted to marry him when you were little. Why don't you like him now? I smiled in response. Auntie, you know, I'm still young and plan to focus on my studies so I can take over the family business later and help my parents. My parents looked proud. Ping Bowen didn't give me any face at the gathering between the two families. He snorted coldly on the spot. What are you pretending for? Talk after you pass your exams. My father immediately darkened his expression. What kind of attitude is that toward Shunga? The Ping parents stepped in to mediate. Bowen and Shunga might just be having a little disagreement, right? They've known each other for so long. There must be some affection between them. Auntie, please don't say things that could be misunderstood. Ping Bowen has a girlfriend. She's an excellent girl with great grades, the one who often ties with me for first place. Ping Bowen called me shameless, probably because he was scolded by the teacher yesterday, which made Lu Shi so upset she couldn't even eat dinner, so he's holding a bit of a grudge against me. It was clearly you who copied Shi's grades. In my heart, she is the only one who deserves to be the top student in our grade. Despite Ping Bowen's parents trying to pull him away, true love knows no bounds, and his words were all heard by my parents. I shook my head at them, indicating that the matter of the guaranteed admission should not be revealed for now. What my daughter is like is not for an outsider like you to judge, with your petty habit of putting others down to. Lift yourself up. I doubt you'll ever achieve anything significant in the future. I nodded vigorously on the side. I taught Shunga everything myself. My daughter is out of your league. My parents put down their chopsticks, took my hand, and left the table in front of everyone. The moment the door closed, the sound of their family arguing could still be heard inside. I held onto my mother's arm and quickly reassured them. Mom, Dad, from now on, let's work together to take down the Ping group. This is what they call returning the favor. The downfall of the Ping group is just a matter of time. I can tell just by looking at old Ping's son. He actually had the nerve to try and take my daughter away with some old joke. He's dreaming. I took the opportunity to ask, what if I never get married in the future? Would you be upset? As long as you're happy. 7 soon. The homeroom teacher announced the date for the second mock exam, which is the simulation closest to the college entrance exam. In previous years, teachers have used the results of the second mock exam to predict college entrance exam scores. The last exam before the college entrance exam, the third mock exam, is the least difficult, aimed at boosting our confidence before the big test. I've been busy preparing for interviews, and to outsiders, I seem no different from before. My life revolves between school, home, and the cafeteria, aside from the barrage of comments and Ping Bowen when thinking I'm putting on a show. The happiest person is Lu Shi. Seeing me carrying the burden and moving forward, she feels reassured that her own life remains peaceful and serene. Yesterday after school, she was still hinting around, asking if I was confident about scoring 700 points in the second mock exam. I smiled easily at the time. Of course, I've reviewed everything thoroughly. She smiled in a fake manner. Let's both keep working hard. Hoping to avoid the fate of tying scores this time, watching her determined back. I thought she was quite a pitiful person. When she first entered our school, she caught the attention of the entire grade. Ping Bowen was so eager to be with her that he even considered calling off our engagement. The two of them were inseparable, and after becoming desk mates, they couldn't even settle down during class. I knew Ping Bowen's foundation well. He had already studied high school courses before, so he had a solid base, and whether he paid attention in class didn't make much difference to him, but it was still quite surprising to me that he could consistently maintain a position in the top 10. But Lu Shi is a truly exceptional case. The school waived her tuition and fees, provided her with free accommodation in a high-end dormitory, and even gave her a monthly living allowance of 700 yuan. Yet, she has been squandering the school's goodwill in this manner. Special admission students are one of the school's safeguards for maintaining its college acceptance rate. Since meeting Ping Bowen, she has been completely focused on him, using my academic achievements to become a prominent figure in the school. Instead of wearing the school uniform properly, she relies on the luxury items Ping Bowen occasionally buys for her with his extra pocket money to gain recognition, but she really doesn't understand the people at our school. Everyone truly respects those with real talent and is more than happy to befriend them. Outstanding people may be lonely, but they never lack friends. Since being selected as a special admit, there's only one path to follow to the end. Those luxuries will just come a little later. That's all. 8. Lu Shi's life has been unbelievably happy lately. Not only has she been staying out all night, but she also skipped class with Ping Bowen to go on a one-day special forces trip to a neighboring city. She was wholeheartedly trying to please Ping Bowen, deluding herself into thinking she could use my grades to pass the college entrance exam and solidify her reputation as a talented girl. She even hoped to marry him after graduation, but in reality, the Ping family's door wasn't that easy to enter. His mother was the first obstacle Lu Shi had to face, while the Chinese teacher was in the middle of class. Lu Shi and Ping Bowen, carrying their suitcases, reported at the door. Our Chinese teacher once said that she too had fought her way from a small town to stand at the podium. When she first faced Lu Shi, she always gave her a little extra attention, recommending her for various competitions, but without my participation, her results were never quite satisfactory, considering that most of the students in the class had one-on-one tutoring with senior teachers on weekends, but Lu Shi did not have such conditions. Therefore, the Chinese teacher would rather sacrifice her own weekend time and personally go to her dormitory to give her free tutoring. This time, seeing Lu Shi wearing exquisite makeup, a miniskirt, and carrying a designer bag, I saw the word disappointment in the Chinese teacher's eyes. After class, a boy came over to ask her a question, but she hesitated and couldn't answer the question. The boy grew impatient, snatched the test paper, and said, "Thanks, but do you even know how to do it?" Lu Shi flushed red, trying to defend herself. "I was just reading the question." The boy walked straight over to me with the test paper. "Goddess, can you teach me how to solve this problem?" I glanced at the question and started explaining right away. By the time I finished explaining the problem, I noticed that in a corner no one else was paying attention to. Lu Shi was crying again. When Ping Bowen heard the noise and came over, the barrage comments also appeared. I've come to realize that whenever the two of them get close to me, the barrage comments show up. Why do people always have to give our female lead a hard time? This guy must have been bribed by the supporting female character, right? He deliberately made the female lead lose face in front of the male lead. If the supporting female character can solve this problem, I'll eat shit standing on my head. She must have looked it up on homework help and memorized it in advance. Is she really that desperate for love, deliberately seeking attention in front of the male lead? I'm really speechless. Bowen, I was just tired and a bit slow to react, but he ended up scolding me for lacking ability and even went to complain to the teacher. Ping Bowen gave me a surprised glance, then looked at Lu Shi, his expression quickly shifting. "Jiang Shengda, you'd be better off spending your time memorizing a couple more ancient poems. What are you arguing with Shi for? Don't think that reciting the answers and explaining them to others will change people's opinions. Real ability is what matters most." The boy who had just asked me the question stepped forward. "Are you out of your mind? How long has Shanshan held the top spot in the grade? Meanwhile, your girlfriend can't even answer a simple question and is still putting on an act." Ping Bowen's face flushed with anger as he snatched the boy's test paper and placed the question in front of Lu Shi. "Who says she can't?" Ping Bowen patted Lu Shi's back. "Don't be afraid. Prove your ability this time." I watched the scene with amusement from the side. Lu Shi's face flushed red, but she was in a difficult position and couldn't back down. She knew exactly what attracted Ping Bowen to her, and once that point was exposed, their relationship would come to an end. Let f(x = kx plus c) substitute into the equation and expand, then compare coefficients to get 2k = k superscript 2 and 3c = kc = c. The boy interrupted her. "Do you actually know how to do this or not? Why are you just reading out the answer I wrote down? Don't you have your own method?" The teacher said there are 4 ways to solve this problem. Ping Bowen glanced at Lu Shi with disbelief. "You don't know how to do this problem, of course, Lu." Shi wouldn't admit it directly. She bit her lip and said, "I know how to solve this problem, but, Bowen, you know I'm not good at explaining things." Ping Bowen understood, his brow relaxing considerably, likely having used this excuse to brush things off many times before. Just then, the teacher walked in to start the class, bringing an end to the whole farce. As I sat down, I received a disdainful glare from Lu Shi. 9. After the interview, I was successfully admitted to Tsinghua University. After returning to school, there was still 1 week left before the second mock exam. I simply took sick leave to go home and recuperate for a while, planning to return only on the day of the exam. Upon learning the news that I had been recommended for admission, the homeroom teacher was so delighted that he kept slapping his thigh. As long as I didn't cause any major trouble, everything else was easy to discuss, and until the college entrance exam, I could come and go as I pleased. Lu Shi genuinely cared about my grades. While I was traveling and relaxing, she sent me many messages, all asking whether I could make it to this exam and if my health would affect my performance. I curled my lips into a smile, of course saying what she wanted to hear. A week later, the second mock exam arrived as scheduled. After the 3-day exams, Lu Shi was surrounded by a group of people holding test papers. Many of them wanted to check their answers with her. She refused as usual, not even changing her usual way of speaking. "It's just an exam. Once it's over, everyone should let it go. Don't dwell on it too much, whether it went well or not." Agreed. I hate those people who immediately start comparing answers right after the exam. It really messes with your mindset. The female lead is definitely going to nail it. It seems she did pretty well this time. Absolutely, she was in great form. I'd say 700 points is probably no problem for her. I couldn't help but chuckle to myself. She took a nap during the exam, so of course her state was good. Not only that, she even boasted that she could score over 700 points. I hope she can still smile this happily when the exam results come out. I went to the homeroom teacher's office. I applied to stay on campus until the college entrance exam, helping classmates with their questions in the meantime. It wouldn't be bad to hold a couple of honorary positions either, although I technically don't have to attend classes anymore, as the famous Western Chu overlord Xiang Yu said over 2,000 years ago. If you achieve wealth and honor but do not return to your hometown, it's like wearing fine clothes at night. Who would know about it? Alright, actually, I just wanted to show off a bit. I went home early because I was afraid I'd miss the amazing expressions on the male and female leads' faces. Just thinking about it makes me want to laugh. From now on, I'll enjoy a life of ease at school, waking up naturally every day. Even if the teachers see me, they'll have to give me a big smile. What's not to love about that? 2 days later, the results were still posted on the bulletin board. Lu Shui looked smug, even leisurely standing at the very back. She was so confident that she didn't even notice the way her classmates were looking at her differently. Oh, and at me too. When the crowd had mostly dispersed, Lu Shui and Ping Bowen leisurely walked over. After seeing the results, both of them were dumbfounded. Ping Bowen had dropped to beyond 30th place in the grade, while Lu Shui couldn't find her own name. How could this be? Did they forget to add my name? I kindly pointed out, your name is right here, the last page of the report card. The two of us both proudly took the last place. Even the second to last scored over 500. Our school truly doesn't tolerate slackers. Lu Shui, I only did the physics problems. That's why I got 100 points. What about you? Is there something on your mind that kept you from scoring 700? Ping Bowen looked at Lu Shui with a complicated expression. Didn't you say you performed well in every subject on the exam? Listen to me, I don't know what happened. Maybe I filled in the answer sheet wrong. This isn't my real score. The more she explained, the more anxious she became. But this time, Ping Bowen hesitated to comfort her. 11. The broadcast sounded at this moment, as the school leaders used it to summon all teachers and students to gather under the podium for a meeting. Actually, today wasn't Monday, so there was no need to attend the flag-raising ceremony. This was all because of the principal, who insisted that I write a reflection and read it aloud in front of the entire school. Today, all teachers and students of our school have gathered here mainly to congratulate our student, Jiang Shengge. She represented our school in the provincial chemistry competition, achieving the outstanding result of a provincial special prize, and performed excellently in the interview for guaranteed admission, being accepted early by Tsinghua University. Now, let us welcome Jiang Shengge from Class 1, Grade 12, to come on stage and deliver a speech. Everyone, please give a round of applause. From a high vantage point, those idle gossip and whispers cannot be heard. All I can see is everyone looking up at me on the stage. Perhaps there is shock, jealousy, and resentment. All of that can be summed up in one word: admiration. Lu Shui's lips trembled, her shoulders shaking like a sieve, looking as if she might break. However, what she didn't know was that the real descent into the abyss would come after the speech ended. How is she going to explain her 100-point score to everyone? After all, she was the one who boasted about being able to score 700 points. Ping Bowen also had a heavy expression. The look he gave me was complicated. I would give him a look of disdain. The barrage of comments was also scrolling frantically. Even so, the supporting female character got into Tsinghua University. Since the jinx has been recommended for admission, she should just go home and stay there. As long as the female lead ends up with the male lead, that's all that matters. Why can the supporting female character participate in the chemistry competition, while our female lead baby doesn't have the qualification? Why, the privileged daughter monopolized the other's qualifications. That's why, the next second, Lu Shui, who was already on the verge of collapse, fainted. Everyone, like startled birds, rushed to support her. Only her boyfriend remained aloof from the matter, but her fainting was merely a delaying tactic. She needed to give the school an explanation, or else she would face expulsion. Faced with the homeroom teacher's questioning, she was on the verge of tears before she could even speak. I don't know what happened either. Maybe I filled in the answer sheet wrong. The teacher pulled out her scratch paper and exam paper, which were filled with random answers. She had guessed enough multiple choice questions to score 100 points. The students below were all whispering among themselves. Before, some had accused me of copying her answers, but now, I scored 100 in a single subject, while she scored 100 in all 6 subjects. All the doubts about me vanished in an instant. Strength is the best proof. It's obvious at a glance that they're the lackeys of the supporting female character's family, always kicking the female lead when she's down. Just wait until our female lead marries the male Lead, the first one to be dealt with will be this old fool. Believe it or not, am I the only one who feels like the female lead's luck has been stolen by the supporting female character? Where's the male lead? Hurry up and save our female lead, baby. She's about to break. My heart aches so much. Watching Ping Bowen slowly walk over, I raised an eyebrow this time. I spoke for the barrage. I'm shipping it. I'm shipping it. Get lost. You dead supporting female character. Who are you to ship them? Show off. Can the author please stop describing the supporting female character's expressions? I don't want to see it. It's disgusting. Teacher, I'm sorry. She had an argument with me before the exam and was in a bad mood, which is why she scribbled all over the test paper. The teacher didn't go easy on Ping Bowen either. Do you think you're any better? Look at where your own grades rank this time. You are a student, and your top priority should be your studies. Lu Shi doesn't have your privileged background, so don't lead her astray. After the teacher left, Ping Bowen returned to his seat without even glancing at Lu Shi. 12. After the second mock exam, my reputation at school skyrocketed. It truly is a case of being unknown for 3 years as the top student, but becoming famous overnight after securing a direct admission. My life at school couldn't be more comfortable. Lu Shi's past happiness also allowed me to experience it firsthand. When I'm tired, I sleep. When I'm bored, I go home to play games because the internet speed at home is great. During idle moments in class, I also ask the teachers in the office for a few liberal arts exam papers to work on, just to cultivate my mind a bit. I can't be bothered to look at the test papers handed out in class anyway, since I don't want to give Lu Shi the advantage. I do attend all the major and minor exams in the humanities class. If you ask when I'm busiest, it's definitely during breaks, self-study periods, and evening study sessions. I'm like a celebrity, with everyone crowding around to ask me questions occasionally. I also enthusiastically help the teachers explain problems, so I gradually became the class representative for mathematics, physics, chemistry, and biology, taking over the responsibilities that had previously been held by several other students. Even Su Qin, who once held the seals of 6 states, couldn't compare to me. On a quiet afternoon, while everyone was resting in the classroom, I went up to the rooftop. It was at that moment that I once again witnessed Lu Shi venting her anger at the system. I want to switch my binding. Switch. Jiangshanga doesn't even need to take the college entrance exam. Am I supposed to follow her and get a 0? The system's voice remained steady. I'm sorry, host. I understand your frustration, but please don't panic. The system does not have the authority to unbind. The binding will automatically dissolve after the college entrance exam. For the remaining time, please continue to work hard my ass. You know exactly how much time is left until the college entrance exam. As before, whenever Lu Shi cursed at the system, it had already made its escape, leaving her alone like a madwoman. This time, I walked out openly and honestly. Upon seeing me, Lu Shi seemed to have figured it out, laughing somewhat self-mockingly. You knew all along, didn't you? That's why you chose the competition route for guaranteed admission. Jiangshanga, how could you be so heartless? I was almost laughing from sheer anger. Me, heartless? Lu Shi, who are you to think I would generously let you copy all my hard work, all these years? You've really had it good, haven't you? In the end, you still won between us. After all, you played around for 3 years, while I worked hard for 3 years, and only in this last month or so have I been able to take it easy. She fell to her knees with a thud, tears streaming down her face, and grabbed my hand, pouring out her emotions. I was wrong. I was really wrong. I'll give Ping Bowen back to you. Okay, I'll step aside. Just let me get through the college entrance exam, and I'll do anything you ask. I shook off her hand. Ping Bowen is just trash, and I'm not a garbage dump. The rooftop was never safe. To prevent her from having any twisted thoughts about pushing me off, I took advantage of her momentary confusion and quickly made my exit. From now on, I must absolutely avoid being alone with Lu Shi. Otherwise, I might not even know how I died. 13. After the results of the third mock exam came out, Lu Shi scored her true grade, 311 points. The school found out that I had been recommended for admission, so I wasn't included in this ranking once again. Lu Shi ended up at the bottom of the class. What else could the homeroom teacher not understand at this point? She asked very subtly. How had she managed to copy my answers in every previous exam? How could Lu Shi admit that she had used the system? She desperately tried to explain that this was just another mistake on her part, and the teacher had lost patience with her. This time, Ping Bowen fell silent. When the second mock exam ended, he still said he would help Lu Shi get back to first place, but this time he didn't even make it into the top 100 in the grade. It's really funny, Ping Bowen himself has never been first in the grade, so how could he teach a student to become first in the grade? He was also criticized by the teacher, and not only that, his parents came to the school as well. The biology teacher asked me to go to the office to help create exam questions, so for this drama, I just sat in the front row and watched the show. Ping Bowen's mother had long held a grudge against Lu Shi. If it weren't for this girl, her son wouldn't have offended the Jiang family in public, his grades wouldn't have slipped either, so, as soon as Mrs. Ping entered the office, she fixed her gaze on Lu Shi because on her wrist was the Ping family's heirloom bracelet. In an instant, the office turned into a fighting ring. Mother Ping was like a relentless beast, skillfully dodging the teacher's attacks while striking directly at her enemy's weak points. It was simply spectacular. Lu Shi had several deep-looking scratches on her face, and not only that, the heirloom bracelet shattered during the fight. Ping Bowen had once boasted in front of me, saying that if I behaved obediently, he would pass it on to me early. I spit, what kind of good stuff haven't I seen before? It was clearly a meeting with parents to discuss grades, but it unexpectedly turned into a property dispute when the police came to the door and took the two of them to the police station for questioning. Ping Bowen remained calm throughout. After I finished setting the questions, I was about to take them to the printing room when he grabbed my wrist as I passed by. I immediately shook him off. Are you crazy? Do I even know you? You're not falling for me just because I got into Tsinghua, are you? If that were really the case, would you say you're in love with Tsinghua? I'm sorry, Shanga. I cut him off. I may not understand men, but do I not understand Ping Bowen? Save your act. If you really feel sorry for me, stay out of my way from now on. We grew up together. Are you really going to be this heartless? I pointed at Lu Shi, who was still half turned away. That's your girlfriend. What am I? Anyway, you did grow up with me, but at most, I see you as a study companion. A few words shattered his self-esteem, and I walked away with my head held high. After that day, Lu Shi and Ping Bowen never came back to school. On the day of the college entrance exam, I worked as a logistics staff member alongside my homeroom teacher. I sincerely wish everyone excellent results and a smooth journey ahead. 14. On the day I boarded the plane with my suitcase, several classmates were on the same flight as me. From them, I learned about the current situations of Lu Shi and Ping Bowen. Neither of them took the college entrance exam. One was sent abroad by their family to attend university, while the other incurred a massive debt. Even if Ping's mother shared half the responsibility, that bracelet would still cost several million. Although it felt somewhat unfair to the girl deep down, this was a situation Lu Shi brought upon herself. If she had chosen to be down to earth, perhaps she would have been on this flight today as well. Although there have been many difficulties, I still hope she can become self-reliant. 15. After checking in, a voice suddenly echoed in my mind, very familiar. Congratulations, you have the opportunity to obtain a super system that can bind to others' scores. Without any effort, you can gain the achievements of others, whether it's experimental results or SCI papers. Would you like to bind to it? Host. Now that the system has been upgraded, the host can choose to change the binding target at any time. Oh, is Lu Shi arriving at an inopportune time? I reveal a contemptuous smile. Trash can never replace one's own efforts. Get as far away from me as possible. I will create my own achievements through hard work. Stealing others' achievements in any form is illegal. The end. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. My sister-in-law was pregnant and called me in the middle of the night, asking me to make her some cola chicken wings to satisfy her craving. Shortly after she finished eating, she had a miscarriage. She tearfully told my brother that I had poisoned her. My brother was furious, and during the struggle, he kicked me down the stairs, resulting in high-level paraplegia. Not only did my mother not take me to the hospital, but she also locked me at home, cutting off all my connections with the outside world. They squandered my money, while I starved to death at home. Opening my eyes again, I went back to the moment I received my sister-in-law's phone call. Hurry back, Chelsea. I'm having cravings and don't want anything else. Just your cola chicken wings. My sister-in-law Megan's coquettish, high-pitched voice rang out from my phone. I jolted in shock, unable to believe my eyes as I glanced at the date and time displayed on my phone. It was actually 6 months ago. I have been reborn. Those miserable past events are still vivid in my mind, and I couldn't help but clench my fists. I tried hard to keep my voice calm. Don't you see what time it is now? I still have to work tomorrow. If you want to eat something, go find my brother. I'm busy right now, so I won't talk to you anymore. After saying that, without waiting for a response from the other end, I quickly hung up the phone. My heart was pounding like a drum. My palms were drenched in sweat. My sister-in-law married into our family 3 months ago. The next day, my mother urged me to move out. She said that since I'm already this old and have such a good relationship with my brother. Now that my sister-in-law has entered the family, I need to learn to avoid any suspicion. We can't let their child overthink things. I thought my mother was overthinking it, and since I had no shortage of money, I moved out without a second thought. I let them live in my apartment. I also give my mom 5,000 yuan in living expenses every month, but I never expected their greed to go far beyond that. What they've always wanted is everything I have. Thinking about what happened in my past life, I broke out in a cold sweat. Just after I washed my face in the bathroom, my brother called. He started scolding me. "What's the matter? Your sister-in-law is pregnant and just wants to eat something you made, and you're making excuses. If you consider me your brother, you better come back right now. What does her pregnancy have to do with me? I'm not your servant. You can't just call me over at 3 in the morning and expect me to come running. She's your sister-in-law, and she's pregnant." No, not wanting to hear my brother's nagging anymore, I hung up the phone and decisively turned it off, yet a trace of suspicion arose in my heart. Why is my sister-in-law so insistent on getting me over there right now? Could there be something fishy about her miscarriage? My brother has oligospermia, so he treasures this child dearly, which is why he turned against me on the spot after my sister-in-law had a miscarriage. But what if her miscarriage had nothing to do with what I did in the first place? Whether I went or not, she would have had a miscarriage then. Thinking about all the things I went through later, it's absolutely terrifying when you think about it carefully. I quickly changed the password to my front door and deleted all fingerprints except my own. Only then did I lie back down in bed, feeling uneasy. Just as expected, an hour later, I heard violent knocking on the door. I tiptoed as I got up. I saw the situation outside through the video door lock. My brother and my mother were standing outside the door, supporting my sister-in-law on either side. My brother kept knocking on the door, completely ignoring the doorbell. "Chelsea, open the door quickly. I know you're home. Hurry up and open the door." My brother looked anxious, knocking and shouting at the same time. His voice was extremely loud, but my gaze fell on my sister-in-law's pale face. Her gaze remained fixed on the intercom, and her left hand unconsciously rested on her lower abdomen. After a long while with no response, my mother muttered under her breath, "That's strange. When I came during the day, my fingerprint could still open the door. Why isn't it working now? Leo, stop knocking for a moment. Let me try again." There's no way that wretched girl would have deleted my fingerprint. Try what? We've already tried so many times. I'm telling you, she's definitely home. I don't know what's gotten into her, but she just won't open the door for us. Does she know something? Just leave it be. If she doesn't open it soon, I'll get someone to break it open. After saying that, my brother continued kicking the door. His expression was extremely fierce. Where is the person I used to know? My heart was pounding as I stood behind the door. Though it was just a few words, I was certain they were hiding something from me. It's possible that my sister-in-law's miscarriage was orchestrated by them, just as I was struggling with whether to call the police. The residential property security had already appeared outside the door. Several security guards surrounded them as if facing a great enemy. My mother even had the audacity to demand that the property management open the door for her. She claimed she was a resident here and even flashed the residential access card. But the property management isn't foolish. With a fingerprint lock, there's no such thing as forgetting keys. How could they possibly believe her just because of an access card? Just as both sides were arguing and negotiating, my sister-in-law suddenly clutched her stomach and slid to the ground. I can't. My stomach hurts. My stomach really hurts. Quickly take me to the hospital. Megan, are you okay? Wife, what's wrong with you? My mom and my brother stopped arguing immediately and both hurried over to support her. I quickly noticed that my sister-in-law's pajama pants seemed to have a wet spot in the middle. Oh no, it must be just as I guessed. She had a miscarriage. I let out a long sigh of relief only after the property management staff, in a flurry of activity, helped them carry the person downstairs. I slumped to the ground, leaning against the door. This time, I didn't go back to make cola chicken wings, but that didn't mean they would let me off the hook. There was no telling what other excuses they might come up with. After all, in my previous life, they gained too many benefits from me. It was only then that I realized my mother never cared whether I lived or died. But why? My father died early, and my mother single-handedly raised both my brother and me. Her favorite thing to say was that she treated us equally. Whatever my brother has, I must have too, and she always acted that way. That's why, after I started earning money, I never bothered to keep track of financial matters with my family. But why did everything change after my sister-in-law joined the family? Even though it was clearly a harmonious household with a loving mother and filial daughter, and siblings who got along well, is it just an excuse to use my sister-in-law as a pretext? I thought a lot that night, but I couldn't figure it out at all. By the time I woke up, it was already noon. After turning on my phone, I saw hundreds of missed calls and dozens of voice messages. I'm too lazy to read. First, I contacted a private detective agency I know. I asked them to thoroughly investigate my parents' past, As well as my sister-in-law and her family's situation, I also asked them to find a way to get my mother's and my brother's hair. I need to do separate paternity tests. They are really too suspicious. Just as I hung up the phone, my mom's number appeared on the caller ID. After thinking for a moment, I answered the call unexpectedly. Although my mom's tone was anxious, she didn't scold me. "Darling, where are you? Come to the hospital quickly. Your sister-in-law had a miscarriage last night. How could this be?" I pretended to be shocked. My mother paused for a moment before explaining to me. She said that last night, my sister-in-law wanted to eat something I made, but I refused to go home, so she and my brother brought her to my place. I never expected that this trip would cause my sister-in-law to lose the baby. By the end, my mother's voice was choked with tears. "It's all our fault for not being careful. We took your sister-in-law out before her pregnancy was stable, but you know your brother's situation. How hard it was for them to have this child. Hurry to the people's hospital and apologize to them. Let them know you didn't deliberately refuse to open the door last night. I really wasn't home last night. You're not there." My mom's voice immediately rose several pitches. I hummed in agreement, then explained to her that I was at my boyfriend's place last night. Otherwise, how could I possibly not go back to make food for my sister-in-law? As for shutting down, that's because everyone was in high spirits. How could we possibly run back at such a moment? I was misleading my mother with every word I said. Sure enough, my mother couldn't hold back for even a second. The voice became sharp and piercing. "Did you sleep with someone? When did you get a boyfriend? How come I didn't know? We just started dating recently. Give me the room number, and I'll come over with him later." After hanging up, I quickly contacted the suitor who works as a Muay Thai coach. When he heard it was about pretending to be my boyfriend, Ryan immediately agreed without hesitation. Over the past few years, I've been so busy making money that I haven't had time for romance, but that hasn't stopped others from pursuing me. Ryan was one of them. On the way, I briefly explained the situation to him, which also served as a heads up. He grinned broadly and said, "Enduring a little grievance for you is nothing. If your mom wants me to take responsibility, I'll take responsibility. That kind of good fortune is something I'd beg for but couldn't get. Don't overthink it. I'm just worried they might target you." "Really? Am I that bad?" Ryan was made to feel insecure by what I said. I also found it hard to explain to him, as this was my way of testing the waters, but I never expected their reaction to be so extreme. As soon as I entered the door, my brother rushed over, swinging his arm wide to slap me. "Shameless girl, have you no shame? You slept with someone without a word and caused your sister-in-law to have a miscarriage." I immediately ducked and hid behind Ryan. He grabbed my brother's hand and stood in front of me like a mountain. My brother flew into a rage. "Let go of me, you brat. What does my family business have to do with you? This wretched girl knew her sister-in-law was pregnant and still made us go through all this trouble. If I don't beat her to death today, my name isn't James." But he was no match for Ryan, who stood nearly 9 meters tall. Ryan turned to look at me. I shook my head at him, then he poked his head out to look at my brother, though his face was still familiar. There was an indescribable sense of strangeness about him. No, not exactly strange, though. Wasn't this the same expression he had when he kicked me down the stairs in my previous life? I glanced at my mom, who was quietly comforting my sister-in-law. I understood. If Ryan hadn't come with me, I might have been lying on the ground by now, and they would still refuse to give me any chance to explain. Just like in my previous life, I stared straight into my brother's eyes. "What does her miscarriage have to do with me? How can you blame me for this? Did I tell you to take her out, or did I invite you to my house? Leo, let me make this clear. Your wife's pregnancy has nothing to do with me. I have no obligation to serve you like a slave." "Oh, how can you talk like that? Your brother is just upset about losing the baby. Can't you try to understand him?" My mother stood up and walked toward me as she spoke. I immediately stepped back. Perhaps it was due to the painful experiences from my past life. Now, whenever she gets close, I get a creepy feeling. Ryan suddenly spoke up. "Don't move. Take another step and I'll break your son's fingers." My mother immediately stopped in her tracks, her face filled with disbelief. "Girl, is this the boyfriend you found? The first time we meet, he's threatening your brother. What's going on in your head?" I don't agree with you two being together. At least he wouldn't lay a hand on me," I replied coldly. "Some things really shouldn't be tested. I thought the reason they treated me that way in my past life was because they had lost the child, but now it doesn't feel that way. My sister-in-law's miscarriage was just the trigger. The real reason is probably something else." Once again, I fearlessly spoke up. "Mom, did you not see my brother hitting me? Or do you also think my sister-in-law's miscarriage is my fault? Should I have dropped everything, no matter what time it was or what I was doing, and rushed back to serve her the moment she called. I didn't mean it that way, it's just that the child is gone, and everyone is feeling upset, right? Then why are you blaming my boyfriend for taking action? During the back and forth, I stared intently into my mother's eyes. She guiltily looked away, my heart skipped a beat, and I quickly gave Ryan a few instructions before turning around and rushing out. My mother's expression changed drastically. By the time she tried to stop me, it was already too late. I rushed to the nurse's station in one breath and asked the nurse why my sister-in-law had a miscarriage. Perhaps my expression was too terrifying. The young nurse was so frightened that she quickly flipped through the records. Then she cautiously said, "My sister-in-law came to schedule a medication abortion 3 days ago. Didn't my family already know about it? Why are you asking again now?" After saying that, she pointed to a few signed forms for me to see. This is her husband's signature. The fetus hasn't been developing well from the start, and we can't even see the fetal bud. If you family members can't agree, it has nothing to do with our hospital. Thank you. After thanking the nurse, I walked back on shaky legs. It was all a trap. The embryo was not developing properly, so I scheduled a medical abortion, but they're blaming me for it, and because of that, they even resorted to harming me. No wonder they insisted on pushing my sister-in-law in front of me. Were they afraid they wouldn't have a valid reason to target me, since they are already so vicious? What excuse do they need? I can't understand why my mother would treat me this way. We are all her children, and she has always treated us equally. How could things change so suddenly? And when I think about the experiences from my past life, I lifted my head and rubbed my eyes hard. Back in the hospital room, Ryan was tightly restraining my mom and my brother. My sister-in-law was still whimpering on the hospital bed. Without a second thought, I rushed over and slapped her across the face. "You scheduled the medical abortion yourselves, yet you're blaming me for your miscarriage. Megan, have you no shame? Chelsea, what are you doing?" Seeing his wife get hit, my brother flew into a helpless rage, but no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't break free from Ryan. I turned around and rushed up to him, using all the strength I had. I swung my arm and gave him a few hard slaps. "You're eating my food and living in my place, and you still dare to scheme against me, Leo. You already signed the hospital papers, and now you're saying I caused your wife's miscarriage. If you don't want to live in that house, then get the hell out, and you have the nerve to hit me. Take a good look at yourself, you little bitch. How dare you hit me?" Leo struggled like a madman, but how could he possibly break free? I took the opportunity to kick him hard a few more times in the leg, if I could. I wish I could break his legs right now, just like he did to me in my previous life, but I don't have the ability, by now, even if I don't say it. Ryan should have noticed that something is wrong with my family, but he still holds them tightly, absolutely not letting me suffer a loss. My mother burst into loud sobs. "Girl, you need to make him let us go right now. Your brother was just feeling frustrated and had no way to vent. How could you lay a hand on him? He's your brother. Besides, he didn't even hit you, but you're the one who hit them. Your sister-in-law just had a miscarriage. How could you be so heartless to treat her like that? Have you lost your mind? Have you forgotten how much your brother used to care for you, even if he hit you a few times? What's the big deal? You let an outsider lay hands on us. Do you even have a conscience?" The old lady wailed as if the sky were falling. In no time, the area outside the hospital room was crowded with onlookers. Everyone was pointing fingers at me and Ryan. That's right. They haven't had the chance to do anything to me in this lifetime. At most, they've accused me of causing Megan's miscarriage, yet I lashed out at them violently. But do I care? Thinking of those desperate days when I lay in bed unable to move, how could I possibly care about what others think? Only after I had vented enough did I finally drop the ultimatum. I gave Leo 3 days to get out of my house immediately. My mother collapsed to the floor, crying. She accused me of being cruel and ruthless, disowning my own family. Even though she knew my brother had no house, she still took back the property, leaving him and his child with nowhere to live. She also said that once I found a man, I forgot about my own mother. She wants to drive them to their deaths. I simply ignore everything she says. I dragged Ryan away without looking back. The 3 days I mentioned were not meant to threaten Leo. Even without this current situation, based on what they did in my previous life, I would never let them take advantage of me again. Most importantly, I think it's dangerous to be with them after leaving the hospital. Ryan tentatively asked me, "Did something happen at home that upset you?" I shook my head with a smile, thinking about it carefully. I probably can't really call it being wrong now. At least they didn't succeed this time. As for the future, I definitely won't compromise myself. I discussed with Ryan, asking if he could be my bodyguard, without any personal feelings involved. Hearing that it didn't involve emotions, Ryan was visibly disappointed, but when he heard me say it would take a month He quickly perked up again. He thumped his chest with a loud thud. "Don't worry, as long as I'm here, no one will lay a finger on you." With Ryan's help, the following matters went smoothly. While my mom and the others were still at the hospital, I quickly took some people to the house they were living in. After clearing out their belongings, I listed the house for sale, since the price was far below the market rate. The house was sold the next day. I didn't dare keep the one I was living in either. After all, Leo said that night that even if I didn't open the door, he could find someone to open it. I couldn't put myself in danger again. 3 days later, the police came to me as soon as I settled into my new home. I was told I was suspected of a burglary. The person who reported it was my own mother. At the police station, my mother cried as if her heart would break. She said that her daughter-in-law had only been hospitalized for 3 days, but when she returned, all the belongings she had saved up over the years had mysteriously disappeared. In addition to large furniture and appliances, there are also various scattered gold and silver jewelry. The total value far exceeds $300,000. The suspect in the case was directly pointed at me. I laughed in anger on the spot. My father passed away early and didn't leave much behind. Before I could earn money, our family still lived in rented housing. That 3-bedroom, 2-living-room apartment was bought after I started earning money. It was registered under my name before my brother got married. My mother once asked me to transfer the property to him, saying that since he was starting a family and career, he shouldn't be without a home. At that time, I agreed out of soft-heartedness, but I never found the time to handle the transfer. As for the furniture and appliances inside, I paid to have them all replaced before my brother got married. I still have the purchase receipts in my possession. Seeing me calmly present the copy of the property deed before the transfer, the purchase records of furniture and appliances, and the various jewelry purchase receipts she had listed, my mom exploded on the spot. She lunged at me, flailing her arms and trying to tear me apart. "You little bitch, how could you be so cunning? I raised you. What's wrong with you giving me these few things? You even kept records. Do you have a conscience? Do you?" After being blocked by Ryan, she sat on the ground again, crying and wailing. "Oh Arthur, my life is so bitter. How could I have raised such an ungrateful wretch? You might as well take me with you when you go. That ungrateful wretch is trying to kill me. Oh Arthur, why don't you open your eyes and see? This life is unbearable." My mother let out a miserable wail. It drew many sympathetic glances, but I just looked at her expressionlessly. My heart remained completely calm. I am skeptical of everything she does. No mother who truly loves her child would behave the way she does. Putting aside what happened in the past, her current actions make it hard for me to believe she loves me. Could it be that she gave me affection but all the money went to Leo? Or is it that even the care was fake? Fortunately, sympathy is one thing, but fairness is another. The police did not side with her just because of her crying. After I fully proved that all those items were purchased with my own money, and she couldn't provide any evidence of them being gifts, I was released. Just outside the police station gate, Leo and Megan were waiting there with anxious expressions. The moment they saw me and Ryan, their faces immediately darkened. "How did you get out? Where's Mom? Did you think I'd be locked up?" "Leo, the house is mine, and everything in it was bought by me. How dare you accuse me of theft? If you're out of your minds, go see a doctor. I even gave up the house for you to get married and moved out to rent a place myself, and you're still not satisfied. How can you be so greedy? That's bullshit. You're renting, don't think." "I don't know, the place you're living in now is also yours," Leo blurted out without thinking. I was instantly startled. Since childhood, I've understood the principle of not flaunting wealth, even with my own family. I've always held back a little over the years. I've earned quite a lot, but I've never been completely honest with them about it. I only admitted that the house where Leo got married was bought by me, but how did he know? Taking a deep look at Megan, who was standing close to Leo, I had a vague suspicion in my heart. "Isn't it up to you to check whether the house is mine or not? Even if it is, what does it have to do with you? Are you trying to frame me for causing your wife's miscarriage just because you're coveting my property? You're lying. You know in your heart whether I'm talking nonsense or not." "Leo, I've done everything I possibly could for you and Mom over these years. Let's not contact each other unless absolutely necessary from now on." After saying that, I quickly left under Ryan's protection, but my back was covered in cold sweat. Many things I couldn't figure out before suddenly became completely clear at this moment. Assuming my real assets are already known to them, it's no surprise that they would target me. But why did they only strike after Megan entered the room? I soon found out the answer, looking at the results sent by the private investigator. I could hardly believe my eyes. My dad and my mom are in a second marriage. Before marrying my mom, My dad had been married once before. His ex-wife had moved far away for the marriage and did not keep in close contact with her family during childbirth. She couldn't leave the operating room due to an amniotic fluid embolism, but she left behind a baby girl. At that time, my father was struggling to raise the child alone, and out of desperation, he had no choice but to accept the marriage that followed. When my mother entered the family, she brought along a 3-year-old boy. Everything fell into place. I was that baby girl. Fiona is not my biological mother, and Leo is not my biological brother. The only reason they raised me after my father's death is that my grandparents still transfer money to her every month. After learning the truth, I was completely devastated, but I also felt a sense of relief. No wonder they treated me like that in my previous life. It all makes sense now. Soon, the paternity test results for Fiona and me came out. Sure enough, we are not biologically related. The day I got the results, I had my assistant book a flight, and Ryan and I flew to that small border town thousands of miles away. There, I met the elderly couple with their white hair. My grandmother, sitting in her wheelchair, held my hand with trembling hands and repeatedly asked if I was Chelsea. Was I the Chelsea born to her daughter Laura? I threw myself into her arms, tears streaming down my face. Grandpa was also wiping away tears beside us. It's Chelsea. Who else would come to visit us besides our granddaughter? Stop crying, old lady, look how big she's grown. We should be grateful we can still see her. No more crying, no more tears. Grandma wiped her eyes hard, saying she wouldn't cry, but tears kept streaming down from their words. I finally learned the complete, long-buried story of the past. My mother's name is Laura, and she was the only child in the family. After graduating from college, she married my father for love and moved far away. They say one should not marry far away while parents are alive. This is indeed true in reality. After marrying my father, my mother had no time to visit her parents due to the trivialities of daily life. Later, even when she wanted to return, she could no longer do so. My grandmother patted my head to comfort me. Don't blame your father, he treated Ian well, and it was with our strong support that he chose to remarry. After all, my legs aren't good, and your grandfather is too weak to take care of you, so all these years, Fiona has been raising you. Your father has had it tough on his own. When your father passed away, we were worried and made a special trip over, but Fiona refused to hand you over to us. She promised us that since she had raised you until you were 9, she could continue to bring you up properly. We saw that she was genuinely sincere toward you, so we came back. How much do you give her each month? I choked up and asked, although the private detective had already helped me find out the truth. When the elderly person actually said that they had been giving away 2/3 of their monthly pension, my heart still tightened painfully. From now on, don't send her any more money. I've grown up and can earn my own living. Grandma has trouble with her legs, so I'll find her the best doctor. I promise to give you all a better life. Good, good. I knew our Chelsea is a good child. Grandpa and Grandma smiled with relief. After returning from the border town, I immediately went to find Megan. Now she and her son Leo are renting a place together. Without my financial support, she looked quite haggard. She had completely lost the delicate, pampered appearance she once had. Sitting across from me, she stared at me with a strange expression for more than 10 seconds before speaking. What? Leo won't forgive you, so you're using me as a mediator? Chelsea, really? What sister-in-law could be as ruthless as you? You sold the house you promised to your brother without a second thought, and you cut off the monthly allowance for your mother's retirement. How could you do such things? Is Ethan your ex-boyfriend? Oh, wait, I mean your on and off boyfriend, right? I ignored Megan and instead changed the subject to another matter. The color instantly drained from Megan's face. She stared at me wide-eyed, her face full of disbelief. I slowly placed the evidence in front of her. Ethan dumped you, using the excuse that you could never compare to me, right? So you deliberately found Leo as a rebound, brewed him a pot of everlasting biliuacun. All just to target me. You're talking nonsense. Nonsense. You and Ethan haven't even broken it off completely, have you? Megan, have you lost your mind from being so desperate? Ethan is an obvious scumbag, plain for everyone to see. Just because you're into him doesn't mean I would be. I never gave him a second glance from the start, but you believed all his lies and even married Leo just to get back at me. Your so-called unattainable crush. At this point, I really couldn't help but laugh out loud. Do you think becoming my sister-in-law will give you control over me? You even told Leo and his mother about my true financial situation, but have you ever considered that with just a snap of my fingers, Ethan would come crawling to me just like you fawn over him? You bitch, you absolute bitch. Megan finally couldn't stand my provocation and went completely crazy on the spot. Where would Ryan, who's been following me all along, give her a chance? He immediately Restrained her on the spot. I grabbed the coffee from the table and splashed it all over her face, then slapped her hard several times. Who could be more despicable than you? You're already married to Leo, yet you're sleeping with Ethan. All that talk about poor embryo development was fake, wasn't it? You were just afraid that if Leo found out the child wasn't his, he'd kill you, so you tried to pin it on me. Little did you know. He had the same idea. Your whole family is truly despicable. Let go of me. What do you want? Of course, to send you all to hell. I burst into laughter. My hand stroked her cheek over and over again and tell her, I will leave them with nothing, making their lives worse than a dog's. Megan broke down. Others may not know my true situation, but she does. Ethan was the financial executive at my company, so of course he knows my financial status. I just didn't expect him to tell Megan all of this. After all, he signed a confidentiality agreement when he left. Now, I finally have a reason to deal with that scumbag and make sure he ends up with nothing. I didn't mention anything else to Megan. She naturally wouldn't go back and tell Leo and the others that I had approached her. After all, her affair with Ethan is her weak spot. Before leaving, I warned Megan, if she dares to leave James' house without making Leo's head glow green, I'll make her life a living hell. Trembling, she asked me just how many times she had to cheat. I dipped my finger in water and wrote a number in front of her, and she instantly collapsed to the ground. 100 kills. I paid her no further attention and left with Ryan. As for whether it was 100 kills or 1,000 kills, then she'll have to figure it out on her own later. I asked Ryan if I had been too harsh, since Megan hadn't actually caused me any real harm, although she had tried to provoke me a few times after entering. Since we didn't live together, she couldn't really affect me much. Ryan only replied with one word: deserved. I thought I had already done things thoroughly enough, but I never expected Fiona to still dare to come looking for me. She cornered me downstairs at the company. She knelt down in front of me in public. Can't you help your mom? It wasn't easy raising you all these years, and now I have nowhere to live and no source of income. You run such a big company but won't give me a single penny. How can you be so heartless? Child, I'm your mother. Leo told me that your company handles tens of millions in and out every year. Please, just be kind and give me some alimony every month. I'll kowtow to you. I'll kowtow to you. I watched coldly as Fiona kowtowed repeatedly in front of me. My expression didn't change in the slightest. It seems I've been too lenient with them, giving her the time to come and cause trouble for me. I can almost guess their next move. It's nothing more than posting this video online to rally public condemnation against me, but she forgot that in the face of absolute power, she can't stir up any waves. The onlookers are becoming more and more rational. Moreover, I won't give them the slightest chance. I didn't bend down to help Fiona up until she had knocked her head until it bled. She said in a very loud voice, you should be kowtowing to me. After all, you've been swindling two elderly people out of their pensions for years. And you even had the nerve to try to manipulate me into buying a house for your son, not to mention trying to take advantage of me, an orphan girl, by scheming to get my inheritance. Fiona, what goes around comes around. If you keep doing bad things, you'll eventually face the consequences, you know. Fiona was shocked. I continued to smile at her. Back then, you stubbornly refused to return me to my grandparents just to embezzle my father's death compensation. Later, you continued to deceive the two elderly people using my name. Fiona, are you completely obsessed with money? No, I didn't. Fiona scrambled up from the ground as if she had seen a ghost and ran away, but no matter how fast she ran, she couldn't outrun the internet. That very night, I paid to have her trending on social media. Fiona's dirty deeds were vividly written into sensational stories, complete with various real screenshots. A greedy and malicious stepmother was freshly exposed. I don't know if it will lead to online bullying, but what I do know is that she probably won't have time to look for me next, because something happened to Leo. Over the years, I've given a lot of money to the family, and with the pension Fiona swindled from my grandparents, they've been living quite comfortably. Although Leo is just a small worker earning $3,000 a month, he has long been accustomed to a lavish lifestyle, spending money freely and enjoying the company of friends while drinking and having fun. Even now, living beyond his means doesn't stop him from seeking pleasure. Where there are many people, there is bound to be more trouble. Leo got into a conflict with someone at the bar and was dragged into a corner by a group of people who beat him up. None of his so-called brothers dared to utter a word. As a result, he ended up paralyzed. Just like in my previous life, he can only spend the rest of his days lying in bed, unable to afford the medical fees. Fiona came to see me several times but couldn't find me. I heard that in the end, she tearfully took the person back home. The landlord who rented the house to them felt it was unlucky and kicked them out after just a few days. Now the whole family is crammed into a small single room in an urban village to cover the medical expenses. Fiona had no choice but to go out and look for a job, but where could she possibly find one? After all, she was now a well-known figure online. Who would dare hire such a malicious and vicious old woman? She could only pick up trash outside every day. Megan originally wanted to run, but when she went to find Ethan, she witnessed the moment he was captured. Now she was completely subdued. Every day, she diligently brought people back to the rental house to continue her 100-person conquest. Leo was so angry that he was spitting curses, babbling, and not knowing what he was swearing about, but each time, Megan would hit him over the head with a tool. After she was done, she cursed him, saying that if it weren't for him, she wouldn't have ended up in such a state. Since we're going to hell, then let's all go together. I know this because I personally went to the rental house. Megan stood obediently at the door, not daring to take a single step inside. I smelled the pungent odor in the room and looked at Leo on the bed, unable to speak or move. I feel completely refreshed. Bro, are you comfortable? We grew up together, so there should be some affection between us. But why did you decide to harm me? Now you're enjoying it, lying here without having to work, with food and drink provided. How wonderful. Leo's eyes were filled with resentment, and he was still mumbling incoherently. Although I couldn't understand, I knew he was cursing. Harshly, I smiled and patted his face. Were you trying to say it shouldn't be like this, that I should be the one lying in bed? Leo, I've known for a long time that you came back too, but this is the reality. The past in your mind is just a dream. It's better to forget it. I knew he had returned the night he banged on my door, otherwise, he wouldn't have shown such a ferocious expression in advance, because he knew it very well. At that time, I was the fish on the chopping board, and he was the butcher. But now everything has changed. I didn't let anyone continue to cause trouble for Fiona and Leo. Sometimes letting them live is worse than death. I told Leo that the past was all a dream, and honestly, it feels the same to me, just a nightmare. Now that the dream is over, it's time for me to live my own life. I bought a city villa in the busiest part of downtown, which is convenient for travel and yet offers a quiet environment. Before bringing my grandparents over, I also hired the best medical team to treat them. A son's desire to care for his parents may come too late. Although I never got to meet my mother in this lifetime, it doesn't stop me from fulfilling her filial duties to my grandparents on her behalf. On the surface, Fiona raised me all these years, but in reality, it was my real relatives who provided the money, scrimping and saving to get me where I am today. Fiona was just a blood-sucking leech. Soon, Ryan's contract with me was up, and he asked if I would consider renewing it. Given how hard he had worked, I smiled and agreed to him. Let's be clear up front, we're just in an employment relationship, no emotions involved. You can rest assured about my work. I definitely won't fantasize about things I shouldn't. Besides, how dangerous is it for a single woman to be taking care of two elderly people alone? With me around, no one will lay a finger on you. He patted his chest again with a loud thumping sound. Half a year later, a vicious crime occurred in the city. It even made the news. It was said that in an urban village, a woman who appeared to be weak and defenseless stabbed her disabled husband 27 times, with each strike being fatal. When the police attempted to arrest the perpetrator, the suspect took a hostage and fought back violently and shot dead on the spot. The hostage rescued by the police was a madwoman. The madwoman was emaciated, with broken limbs, and reeked of a foul odor. It is said she had been imprisoned for several months when rescued. He kept shouting deliriously, "No, it shouldn't be like this." Ryan was telling me this while I was showing my grandparents pictures of the island. The weather is getting cooler now. I'm planning to take my parents to the island for the winter. After 6 months of treatment, Grandma's leg has improved a lot, and now it's just a matter of gradual recovery. After hearing what he said, I just smiled. This is what they deserve. Didn't you say it was fair back then? Now I also think they should. Alright, other people's business has nothing to do with us. Call the assistant to book the flight tickets. I'm taking Grandpa and Grandma away for the winter. How many tickets? I shot him an annoyed look and retorted, "What do you think?" Ryan chuckled with a sly grin, a faint blush spreading across his face. I ignored him and just looked up at the sky, awaking from the dream. The cloudless sky was truly beautiful. After hearing the 2 stories above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Looking forward to hearing from you. If you liked this story, don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. See you next time.